I got an idea! Let's take one of, if not the hottest act in pro wrestling today. Put him in the ring with one of the most boring acts in pro wrestling today, and have the over dude get beat by the boring dude. And let's make it extra pathetically embarrassing and beat that over dude via the awe-inspiring, ultra-devastating fruit roll-up. The most over dude beat by the most boring dude via the most boring move in all of professional wrestling, the fruity roll-up. Hey, I got another idea. Let's take Charles Flair and Bianca Belair. Forget the fact they've been feuding for months. Parade them out there like a legit tag team and have them defeat Damage Control. You know, the current women's champion! And a faction that desperately needs a victory just to show the audience they're not a sideshow shitfest. Come to think of it, I can't even take credit for these ideas, because this dumb fuckery actually transpired last night in Toronto on Smackdown. And I don't give a single flying fuck whose idea it was. If it was Paul Levesque McMahon with his schnoz up VKM's ass while simultaneously approving this doofusness, or if it was Vincent Kennedy signing off on this recklessness while pounding away on a new paralegal. The fact that these decisions were approved shows the complete incompetence and utter stupidity that rattles through the structures that is World Wrestling Entertainment. This is the Smackdown 818 Amplified Review. And oh yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Oh, and Edge perhaps wrestles his last match with the company with an ending that BC actually enjoyed. A little bit of positivity for you mixed in to this dumb fuckery. So grab your coffees, smash that like button to initiate your full amplification, and let's give this show a wabaka! Ha! Redeem go! And my gold unit channel members, mount up! We got a packed, stacked, jacked show for you today. Smackdown 818 2023, the Amplified Review. I know BC's been doing a lot of traveling. We had a lot of business to conduct this week. But you guys showed up and showed out for every podcast that I was able to dish out and over to you guys. You showed that appreciation and you rocked it out. So the goal early next week is to be live with my amplified unit. If not Monday, maybe Tuesday, which means that would be a live Raw review. I don't know if it's going to be channel members only for the chat. I'm not sure yet. If you're already a gold channel member, you ain't got nothing to worry about. All you gotta do is shine up that gold card. Make sure it's initiated for that live stream. If you're not a channel member yet, you still got time. I may open it up to the entire unit, but I do want to give that perk over to channel members soon. So either way, that's the goal. Get back into the studio at least for a podcast or two next week. And it's a special week. I'm going to tell you guys exactly why next week. All right, let's get this rocking. What do you say? Show starts with the Grayson Waller effect. The LWO's Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar, your guests. Now, Waller tries to pit the two against one another. Rey's got the title, you don't. Rey's accomplished, you're not even close. This, that, and the other thing. Dotting every I, crossing every T, but it's not working. So Austin Theory hits the ring. Austin Theory says words. He bores the crowd. He bores everybody at home. Adam Pearce has to hit the ramp, and Adam Pearce actually says, and I quote, "Nobody came here tonight to hear you complain." Very true words spoken by Adam Pearce. No lies detected from Adam Pearce. I don't know anybody buying a ticket to watch Austin Theory run his trap or run the ropes. L.A. Knight, hits the ring next. Knight reiterates that Theory only defends the title once every 3 or 4 months, and he fumbles the ball each and every time. He gives Mysterio props for winning the U.S. title, but says he wants that title. He says he'll even go through Theory to get it, and since they're both dressed to compete, why not now, Pearce likes this idea, and he makes the match official. That's the first match of the night. Theory versus LA Knight. Impromptu status. Now, BC did not like this one bit when this was being made. I just knew Knight was taking a massive L here. And sure enough, with The Miz at ringside and subsequently interfering, Theory defeats LA Knight via the awe-inspiring, ultra-devastating Fruit Roll-Up! Miz is a Raw star. Why would he even be allowed at ringside when Pearce is right there? Just end the fucking brand split once and for all! It's a fucking farce! It is a fucking charade! It's non-existent. There's no purpose for the brand split! You got people running around with hall passes, visitors passes. You got people running in and forming tag teams like Shotzi forming a team with Rhea when Shotzi is on Smackdown. The hall pass, the visitors pass, that was a real thing. That was Paul Heyman. You got people showing up every which show. Nobody cares. Nobody's following along. Miz is not just at ringside. He's on commentary. He's involved in the match. Nobody bats an eyelash. Nothing. Nobody cares. That being said, this would have been a good way to keep LA Knight away from the US title or any title picture, and it would have been a good way to keep the Miz feud ignited. The only issue is the way they went about it is stupid! It makes LA Knight look like a complete doofus. Forget the fact that he's getting rolled up again. It wasn't long ago before Xavier Woods was rolling him up. Do you guys remember? He was white lightning hot, and Xavier Woods is rolling him up. No, forget the fact that he just lost via another roll-up. It's the fact that he continuously says he's gonna do something, and then he just doesn't do it. I'm going to win Money in the Bank one way or the other. And he's watching Damian Priest on top of the ladder retrieve that briefcase. I'm going to win that Fatal 4-Way and get to Austin Theory's championship. And, of course, he doesn't come close to winning that Fatal 4-Way. I'm going to get that U.S. title from Rey Mysterio, and I don't care what I have to do beforehand obstacle-wise. I'll even take out Theory right now. Adam Pearce says, okay, you're talking a big game. And what happens? A roll-up! BC, the Miz. BC, the tights, man, the tights. This is L.A. Knight. Once again telling you he's gonna do something, once again failing, and once again failing embarrassingly. The tights? people are supposed to think he's a winner, get behind him, when he loses via tights? I would have won. I would have beaten Austin Theory if my tights weren't bunched up. If I could have just gotten one of my big delts up just a centimeter up off the canvas. If I just turned a little bit to the left. If somebody said that catering just brought out a brand new triple layered mousse cake, I would have turned to my left and my shoulder would have accidentally got up from the canvas. It's embarrassing. It's stupid. And I am done too. I'm the one who said there's untapped potential in Austin Theory. How do we get that out of him? Who knows? I don't know if Theory knows. I don't know if Paul Levesque McMahon knows. Certainly Vincent Kennedy doesn't know. I don't know who knows. But this is not it. There's no connection to Austin Theory. It is boring. It is channel changing inducing. They have to pipe in fake boos, fake reactions. They leave him off SummerSlam and other pay-per-views for a reason. He only defends once every 3 months, like Knight says, for a reason. And they've tried everything. They've tried it all. They've even had John Cena lose to this dude at WrestleMania, and the needle didn't even move. The needle didn't even move. He beat John, and that's what John Cena was most concerned about. Do you guys remember? That was the initial reports backstage, but he went with it. He went with it. He did VKM and Paul Levesque McMahon. He did everybody a solid. And he said, all right, I just hope you know what you're doing. And that was his mistake. You cannot give that company the benefit of the doubt. John Cena in there with Theory, dropping that match on the grandest stage of them all and hoping that they knew what to do with Theory. Do you guys remember John Cena's promo with Theory? They don't care about you. He legit said it face to face. They don't care about you. You're irrelevant. They pipe in boos for you. Dude, that's not good. These were John Cena's words in his promo. Scathing, ripped him apart, but it needed to be said because it needed to be addressed, because it needed to be corrected. And still to this day, nothing has. So they took the title from Theory. Finally, we all rejoiced last week. Not because we want to see Austin Theory with bad booking or want him to lose his job. No. Absolutely not. It's because it wasn't working. It was bringing the title down. It was bringing the morale of the fans watching the show down every time he was out there with that title. So they took it off of him. Finally, we all rejoiced. Thankfully. Now get him on track and let's do something legit with the U.S. title we were hoping for. No, WWE found out that we all rejoiced. They cannot take being wrong. They're too stubborn. They're too defiant. So they brought Theory right the fuck back the following week, and they made this dude beat the most over dude in pro wrestling, or at least one of, via the roll-up. This was WWE saying, not so fast. We're not done with Theory. This is a speed bump. We'll figure it out, and until we do, we're gonna still push them through the moon. Not to it, through it. Edge, moving on to Edge, man. Good video packages. Very well done throughout the night. Packages that you'd see for a Hall of Fame or a wrestler's retirement. Really celebrating Edge's 25 years throughout the night. Very well done, man. Emotional. It made you truly appreciate Edge even more if you didn't already. And it was throughout the night, wrestlers giving their candid thoughts during little clips and interviews. Very good, man. Really, it made the main event that much more special, even though it's Edge and Sheamus. I mean, I don't know how excited you can get for that, but that's how Edge wanted it in case it was indeed his last match. We'll go over that end of hour number 2. First, we got to get to the end of hour number 1. This was Io Sky and Bayley of Damage Control versus Charlie Flair and Bianca Belair. Number 1, Io looks so fucking good with that title around her waist. I just gotta say, some things just go together. Peanut butter and jelly, macaroni and cheese, cereal and milk, Michael Jordan and basketball, Natty's left and right booyakas, and Io Sky with a big shiny gold championship. Number 2, why is Bianca Belair tagging with Charlie Flair again? Again, this is the charade we're going to play. I have no problem with catapulting Bianca Belair, but why does she have to be attached to Charlie Flair, just like Asuka was always attached to Charlie Flair? Now, I know people are going to say, well, BC, this is just like kind of a revenge thing because Io was the one who walked out with the title at SummerSlam, so now for the next month or two, you pump up the faces that were in that match. So they're just throwing Charlie and Belair, no harm, no foul. It's all good, BC. Okay, is that what we're doing? So we're going to bump up Charlie and Belair to save face because Charlie and Belair did not walk out of SummerSlam with the title. Io did. So now for the following week after week, we're just going to parade them out there. Okay, there's just one problem with that. What about Asuka? Does anybody remember Asuka? Asuka was in that match. Asuka walked in the title holder. She was the champion. No. That doesn't fit the narrative. BC, we can't talk about Asuka. They don't want to properly book Asuka. Even when she's the title holder, she's the third wheel just to make Charlie look good. No, we're not going to talk about that, are we? Has Asuka looked good since? No. But there's Charlie Flair, and there's Belair having to give Charlie any rub whatsoever that Belair still has. I've always loved Bianca Belair. I always wanted to see the best for her, but that title reign, it got a little soft. That title reign was not very memorable. She held it down, just like I said Sheeta did in AEW, but didn't get a lot of credit, and it wasn't a memorable title reign that first go-around. Unfortunately, that's the same boat that Belair was in. And there was no reason Belair should not have dropped that title at WrestleMania to Asuka. And to prove that that's the decision that should have been made, a month later on a Saturday afternoon with much less of an audience, they ended up giving the belt to Asuka and she defeated Belair. So why not do that at Mania? Just so she can get this stupid record that nobody's gonna talk about? How is Belair tagging with Charlie gonna make her any more or less relevant? She's stagnant. Belair needs something more right now. And Charlie Flair, don't get me started, always defeating the champion. Whether it's her actually doing the deed and pinning or submitting the champion, or somebody else, like last night, I believe Belair defeated Bayley. And that's exactly what happened. Referee Jessica Carr has the call in this match. This was actually a really good physical, entertaining match, by the way. I do want to slide that in there. For those that say, I'm never positive. That was a good match. Physical, entertaining, fun. Belair ends up pinning Bayley via pinfall off of the KOD. Charlie Flair was busted open from her nose, and it sucks to see Bayley eat another L, but you have to protect Io as much as possible. It's a shame that she's already losing this match. Whether she's taking the pin, or getting submitted, or being counted out, or disqualified, it doesn't matter. She is still taking an L. The books will show that Io lost this match as well. So at least try to protect her any which way possible. So Bayley, unfortunately, is the odd person out, because you know damn well they're not having Charlie and Belair lose this match. So here we go. We're going to play this game where Charlie and Belair, it's like the feud never happened. We were talking about possibly Belair turning heel. We were talking about Charlie Flair going straight fucking heel. Every week it's something different with Charlie. One week she's a face. The next week she's a heel. You never know with Charlie. You never know with Charlie because she just goes by the crowd reaction. And that's why a crowd can never truly connect with Charlie Flair, because she's a chameleon. Every week she's something different. And you can't do that, man. You gotta have some form, some semblance of consistency, or else there's not gonna be consistency with your reaction. Moving on. I don't even know where I am on the fucking notes that I did have. Oh, we're going into hour number 2. Two dudes with new attitudes. The Street Profits defeat the OC. Oh, and by the way, in that tag match, Io was your champion. Yeah, I know I reiterated that probably 7 times, but I just want you to think of that. That's how Io is already being booked with the title. Just irrelevant, nonsensical losses. Single, tag match, 6-man tags, it won't matter. That's how your champions get beat in WWE. Hour number 2, the Street Profits with the OC. The Profits defeat the OC. Montez scores the pinfall over Carl Anderson. Post-match, Bobby Lashley comes through the curtain, celebrates with the Profits for their victory. This new street business alliance is going to go one of two ways, I see it. Either Paul Levesque McMahon has a good plan for these three, and this will truly be best for business, or this company has no real plan, at least not with substance, that'll truly garner intrigue. Let's hope for the former and not the latter. Backstage, the ever so beautiful, and BC does mean ever so beautiful, Kayla Braxton interviews Paul Heyman. He throws major shade to LA Knight, which BC found interesting. Possible seeds towards way distant future matches with Roman Reigns and LA Knight. Possibly. Could be fun if done correctly. Heyman then called him like a wannabe and made fun of his catchphrases. I don't know, Paul Heyman never does anything without a reason behind it. So this could be seeds planted. This could set up something bigger in the future. At least that's what we're hoping. Again, could be fun if done correctly. Heyman then receives a call informing him that Jimmy Uso will be live on SmackDown next week. Kayla Braxton tries to say who the source is, try to get the source from Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman says, I could tell you, but I'm not going to. And he walks off. So it's always fun to see Paul Heyman and Kayla Braxton interact. Kayla Braxton works so well and bounces off so well with Paul Heyman. Main event, Edge vs. Sheamus. A thunderous, packed, stacked, jacked reception and pop for the Rated R Superstar. Toronto rocking off the noise decimal meter. Referee Charles Robinson, a.k.a. Little Nate, on the call for this match. Both of these wrestlers were exhausted and sweating kegs just 4 minutes into this match. Legit, man, sweating kegs 4 minutes into this thing. Beth Phoenix was watching on from the front row. You still got it. Chants for Edge from that Toronto crowd. He never lost it. He just got old. That's the truth, man. Sadly, Father Time catches up, but I don't think Edge ever truly lost it. It took 2 spears, but Edge did pin and defeat Sheamus after 2 spears. The first one Sheamus was able to kick out of. Pyro goes off post-match. Beth Phoenix is in tears. Edge and Sheamus embrace with a giant hug. And commentary goes radio silent as we see these visuals. It was a great finish as the wrestling world ponders what's next for Edge. A really good finish, man. Really emotional, and they're really playing up that that's the last you've seen of Edge. Now, Edge has not said that outright. Edge has already said in interviews his contract ended at Mania and then he was on an extension. And he recently cut an interview where Edge said even that extension on the contract, that was the final match on his deal. So Edge's contract is done with World Wrestling Entertainment. That was his last obligation that was fulfilled. It actually ended around WrestleMania, and there was an extension, and that was the last match on the deal. So it could be his last match, and because it expired, and there was not a release or a firing, he could, I'm not saying this is happening, but he could join his good friend, good buddy, like a brother Christian over in AEW in 8 nights at All In Wembley Stadium. He could, guys, because the contract is finished. I don't think that's going to be the case. In fact, I do believe, if they haven't already, they've worked out a new deal, WWE and Edge. I also believe you have not seen the last of Edge. I believe that him and WWE are going to ride off a little bit further before Edge rides off into the sunset. So I do believe that's the case. And hold up. A couple of things. One, I was blowing out that microphone, so apparently we were really amplified in today's review. No apologies there, clearly. Number 2, there's some super chat super thankses. I would like to give a shout out to some Amplified Unit members that deserve a big thank you right back. for showing that extra level of appreciation to the channel. WWE AEW Marvel fan with a coffee over to the channel in the last podcast I put up just yesterday, just a few hours before SmackDown. And WWE AEW Marvel fan is a Gold Team channel member as well. So this is just another coffee being chucked at the channel. It's never needed, but always appreciated. And WWE AEW Marvel fan says, and I quote, Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair teaming up yet again to take on Io Sky and Bayley. Don't be shocked if Charlotte Flair defeats Io tonight. And Charlotte Flair is Io Sky's first challenger for Payback, and Charlotte Flair ends up winning. I really hope I'm wrong, and that's not the case, even if it is yet another triple threat match with Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair. Charlotte would still win, but I'm hoping that I'm wrong. Well, you're part one of that 3-part series of a thought process actually came true last night. WWE AEW Marvel fan. Charlie Flair did beat Io. Bianca pinned Bayley, but still, Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair defeated Bayley and Io Sky last night. So no matter what, Charlotte would already have 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 title reigns already if there wasn't such pushback. If there was such a lack of connection, or let's put it this way, if there was not such a lack of connection, she would have already had 19, 20 reigns by now. They're just prolonging this because they don't want to make it seem so super forced. Way too late for that. So now everybody, it's not even fun for anybody. We're just already anticipating. It's not if, it's when Charlie gets her next reign and her next reign and her next reign. But by 40 in Philadelphia, trust me, she's got her next reign. And it doesn't matter who's getting stomped on in the process. It can be an Asuka, who's once again irrelevant, sadly. She was just holding a title a few weeks ago. Io already losing. It doesn't matter. Xia Li still on a milk carton somewhere. It doesn't matter. It's WWE AEW Marvel fan. I hope you're wrong as well, but so far you are 1 for 1 out of that 3-part thought process. Also, God to me with a 2-spot super chat, super thanks in yesterday's podcast. God to me. I appreciate that. CM Punk looks to overshadow all in with all the news. I can only hope that Tony Khan becomes the boss he should be and takes control of the company to bring the news back to All In and not on CM Punk. The past couple of podcasts, we've been talking about how just wild this has gotten. And it seems like every time we talk about the AEW Brooks drama, it's wild anyway. And it keeps getting just worse for the company. And you think it can't reach another level, right? Of just recklessness, negligence, that Tony Khan and AEW cannot look any more worse. And then here you are 8 days before All In, and all of the headlines are on the Punk drama. It's literally, even if you don't like AEW, that's your prerogative, but this is just sad. It honestly is, it's pathetically sad that it's even reached this point, that your head of talent relations, Christopher Daniels, is the head of talent relations, and he got booted, Das Boot, from his own AEW event this Saturday, last Saturday. Apparently Phillip Brooks did not want him, other superstars like Ryan Nemeth and Hangman Page there. Page was told by management it was to keep the peace. The fact that you can't even go there to fill a backstage vignette or interview, you can't even do that and then leave because one person just said, no, I don't want him in the building. So management is trying to appease this one person, but by doing that, you're annihilating the whole morale of an entire locker room, and that's what you're starting to see. This is no longer about like whose side you're on, right? Well, it's the elite that started it. Well, it's Punk that really started it. Well, I'm on Team Punk. Well, I'm Team Elite. It's not even about that anymore. It's literally about, can Tony Khan stand up and just tell CM Punk, you are not me. You're not Tony Khan. You're not even an EVP. You're not considered a locker room leader. To a few wrestlers, maybe you are. Maybe you're like the Collision Messiah. But the locker room leaders in AEW, from what we're told, reputable sources have already confirmed this, and Jericho himself, Jon Moxley, Chris Jericho, and Bryan Danielson. Those are your 3 locker room leaders. Your 3 EVPs are the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, and Kenny Omega. Your boss is Tony Khan. Unless you're one of those 7 people, man, I don't think Brooke should be the one to tell Jack Perry you can't use real glass. Of course, that's the right call. You should not be using real glass. It's not the smartest of decisions, but it's an idea that he had. And Tony Khan, or somebody like the head of talent relations, maybe, let's make that an 8th person, head of talent relations, Christopher Daniels, he can also have a good say, right? Maybe he should be having that conversation. But if you're just one of the boys and you're going around acting like you're the boss, that's going to be a big issue. So no, I'm not shocked that it's a big issue, and it's been a big issue, and it keeps getting bigger. You're either one of the boys or you're not. Or you're looked at as what is called a locker room leader, like Mark Calloway, The Undertaker, always used to be looked at as. And now apparently Mox, Jericho, and Danielson have that title. But Jack Perry didn't look, from what I know, Jack Perry didn't look at Punk like his leader or his boss. So he had an idea, and Brooks threw a fit. And again, it's not the right call to have real glass. I understand. That's not the topic right now. That's not the discussion. The discussion that Punk is the one to scold him and tell him no. That's the problem. Tony Khan is letting the inmates run the asylum. He needs to put the big boy pants on, and he needs to start calling those shots. He needs to start dictating what is happening. He needs to start saying no and yes to his wrestlers. Otherwise, you have what is called anarchy. And 8 days away from All In, the headlines will not be on the positives. God to me, I appreciate the coffee. Guys, that's what I got for you. Until next time, and there will be a next time, and hopefully that could be live back in the studio. We will see. But until next time, and there will be that next time, Top Guy, I'm out. BC, say it, check you. Peace, deuces, ooses.